Welcome back to Bonded by Bravo. I keep thinking of that TikTok where it's like, we are back, baby. Jenna and I were supposed to take 1 week off, I think, and then we decided, guys, look, we've been, you guys know that the podcast is our side hustle. So we needed that little bit of time to live our lives, and there were some exciting things that happened over the holidays. Jen, do you want to talk about anything?
Oh, I got my ring, so that's exciting.
Okay, but no, that doesn't. Okay, because you just lifted your hand up with your coffee cup, and I was like, "Oh my God, Jenna has a ring on her finger."
Have a ring. Oh, it's
Okay.
twisted.
Okay.
It's so funny how like the morning of it doesn't fit because I had drank the night before, and you're like, I'm like, we got this size. Like, I know it fits. And then, like, I wake up in the morning so dainty, and it's like, oh, it doesn't fit. It's too big. I'm like, wow. Like, it's just crazy how much your body can fluctuate just from.
Okay. I love how
years.
you're even avoiding what's going on because our listeners don't know.
No, we said it, I think.
No, we didn't.
Oh, well, I'm getting married.
Yeah, we've like beat around the bush to it, but we haven't. And you're going about it in like the best way, and we're so excited for you. Congrats to you and Kyle.
Really making our own rules as we go.
So you had ordered the ring, and it came in on Christmas Eve.
I guess maybe sometime around then. And then even that though, like, people are like, is it an engagement ring? Is it the wedding ring? I'm like, it's all in one. And then it's like, why do you have it now? I'm like, because we are making the fucking rules. Like,
because you want to wear the pretty ring that.
Yeah, and it's just like, what I realized is there are no rules.
There aren't. And you're doing the thing. And can you just give it another little show to our audience?
I do love it.
It's so gorgeous. So it's a black diamond.
Yeah, with 2 little diamonds next to it.
And it almost gives, like, from our Italian side of things, like the Maloics, like the evil eye. It almost has that kind of like look to it.
Shout out to Fiat Lux in San Francisco. If you're in San Francisco.
So did you guys?
Lux is great. There's 2 locations, one in the Mission and one in Fillmore, but it's like a really cool store. Eden's like the one that introduced me to the store, of course.
Yeah. Did you get it custom made, or like how did you go about the ring stuff?
Yeah, like this was something I saw on their website, and then I went in, and then you pick how big you want. Like there were 2 versions of the actual ring size, and then same with the diamonds, and we like pick them out, and she like puts them into the ring and stuff.
That's so cool.
Of course, I went for like this. I was like demure, mindful, like tiny.
Give it a few years of being married to a man, and then you're like, I want a rock. Every year ever since, I'm like, this is a cute little dainty demure ring, but I wouldn't mind an upgrade. I tried all my friends.
You're coming up on 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anywho. So you're getting married in March, and we're going to be so excited, hyping our girl up. Congrats.
Thanks.
How was the rest of your holiday season?
I've been working nonstop.
Oh.
So when everyone else is relaxing, I'm just like, okay, gotta go to work.
Gotta go. Was the money worth it, or was it dead? Like New York's dead.
Yeah, I would say like the first week was dead, and then after Christmas, people started to come. I guess everyone tries to get back for New Year's. Like that makes sense. They're trying to get back to like their friends and stuff for New Year's.
Yep.
So then it picked up. But I went into work one night, and it was my turn to not close. Like we kind of alternate on Friday nights who gets to leave at like midnight if it's slow enough.
Yeah.
And I go in, and I was like, I looked at him, and he was like, I just have a favor. And I was like, if you're asking me to close, then I don't want you here at all. Like, let me just have the whole shift.
Oh, good. And get your money.
But it kept it was a lot of closing. And then finally it was my turn on this past Saturday to not close. And of course it was fucking busy as shit, which is great because I want the money. But I was just like, I just want You know, you get it in your head,
Because
sort of.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's nothing worse than that when you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a nice little shift.
Yeah. But it's whatever. It was good. I'm glad to make money, you know?
Yeah, I've been saving the story for you for like, I think like 15 days.
I think it's been
Um,
long.
yeah, and I was like, I want to tell you on the pod, and you're like, okay. And
Yeah.
I hope it lives up to its expectations.
Yeah, because
It's been many days of this. So I had a celebrity sighting. And it was probably one of my personal favorites. So me and my friend, there's a St. Patrick's Cathedral. Like everybody comes to New York to go to St. Patrick's. It's a beautiful cathedral
It is
in the
really
middle
pretty.
of, in the middle of Manhattan. They do a Christmas choir every year. And my friend Emily was like, oh my God, you have to come with me. And we were supposed to go last year, but of course we flaked because that's
Is
who
it
we
free?
are. So it is free. However,
Okay.
if you donate to St. Patrick's, you get a seat.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know how I love the Catholic Church. We just love to take people for the money.
Yes.
Anywho, so no shade.
I know. It's hard not to be imagining like sitting in St. Albert the Great in Huntington
Just,
Valley
like,
and they're just like coming over with the
passing
basket. I'm like,
baskets. I know they
I'll
did
take
that in the
check.
middle. Right. Do you know my dad told me that as a member of the church, you had to give a certain amount of money every month?
No,
You
I
had to
didn't know that.
give a certain amount of money, and if not, then they would send you like a bill to the house. Yeah. Isn't that nuts? Anyway, so we go there and we get in and it's packed. And we're like, oh my God, it's ticketed seating. We didn't know this. So I'm going up and I'm trying to be nosy. And like, I've had some luck in these things before. And I was like, let me just be annoying and see. So I go up to the guy and I'm like, hey, tickets. And he's like, yeah, you need a ticket to get in here. While that happened, I left my friend Emily by herself. She's like, I walked back to her. She's like, some lady saw me standing here by myself and gave me one ticket. I'm like, oh my God, let's use your one ticket to get in, both of us. So we go up to the guy, we give the one ticket, and it's just so chaotic that he's like not seeing if it's both of us. So anyway, we go in, we go to this concert. It was beautiful. It was very like nostalgic of when you were a kid in church on Christmas Eve, choirs singing Christmas songs. And we're like, oh my God. And like, that was going to be our night. And we get out and I was like, do you know what I would love to do? Me and her live on the Upper East Side and we've been talking about going to Bemelmans, which is this incredible piano bar that's in the Carlisle Hotel. If you think of the Carlisle Hotel, it's what you see for the Met. It's where all the stars stay, along with the Mark Hotel, which is directly across the street. I was like, let's go get an espresso martini at the Carlisle Hotel. Christmas spirit. We had like one more day of work, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, oh my God, yes, let's do that. We go to do that. We get there. There's a line. We're like, shit, there's a line. And it's inside the hotel, but it's like this little alleyway. And we're like, oh God, are we going to get in? Are we going to get in? There's probably 7 people in front of us. So we're like, you know, we might get in. And we're standing there and we start talking to this couple in front of us. And they're like, oh, we're coming in from Philly, the main line. Yeah. And we're talking to them, but they were really lovely. And they both had used to live in New York and they were coming there to visit, blah, blah, blah. And we're having a chit chat. And this woman walks up and taps the man because the only way to get by him was if she like tapped him and walked around. She's like, excuse me, I'm just meeting my friend inside. Can I just scooch around you? And I'm staring at her and I'm like, holy fucking shit. It's Kristen Wiig.
Oh my God, I love that.
Kristen Wiig to comedian Amy is like next level. Mind you, Emily, who is my sketch partner, who I've met in sketch comedy, who was like my first actor comedy friend in New York, is like, I mean, Kristen Wiig to her is even a notch above what she is for me. And I'm like nailing her into the wall. Like, do you see this? Do you see this? Because I saw that it didn't register on her face yet. And then I'm watching it register on her face and she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So we're freaking out.
She's the woman that tapped you on the shoulder or tapped.
She's the woman that tapped the couple in front of us.
Okay.
Like, oh, I'm just trying. And she was on the phone. She's like, I'm on the phone with my friend and he's inside. And we're like, okay. And then I'm like, oh my God, Kristen Wiig, her friend's inside. Let her in. So so she goes back to the door because she didn't find her friend. So she goes back to the door to get into the lobby. And we're like staring behind us like, oh my God, she's right there. She's right there. So the couple in front of us, the guy goes and starts looking for her because we're like, oh my God, sorry, we can't pay attention to this conversation. That's Kristen Wiig. That's Kristen Wiig. They're Googling who Kristen Wiig is. Me and Emily are like, I was shaking at this point because I'm like,
Kristen Wiig.
well, they were a little older. So
okay.
I don't think they're in her zeit.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And we're like, oh my God, it's Kristen Wiig, it's Kristen Wiig. So Kristen Wiig then vanishes into thin air. This guy was gonna go find her for us and try to get her to give a picture, but we don't see her. And then the security guy comes out and goes, look, it's gonna be 2.5 hours before music is just starting. People aren't gonna leave. And we're like, shit, okay, fine. And I was like, the Mark Hotel's across the street, and our new friends, the couple, are like, let us buy you a drink across the street at the Mark. And we're like, okay. So we go across to the Mark Hotel and have this lovely evening with this incredible couple. The woman designs these super cool rugs. Alyssa Bloom's rugs in Philly. She has her own store that she's opening. The rugs are so funky and so cool. Jen, you would really like them.
You know what's funny too? One of our good friends out here, she's from the main line. But and she lived in New York, so like at first I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my God, is it her? Yeah.
But I'm gonna ask her if she knows her, because I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's very small. It was so cool. So we go, we have a drink. They end up having to leave. We like became friends. We took pictures with them. It was such a fun night. They're like, tell us when you're performing. We'll come up. We'll see you. So then
I love this story.
I know. So then we are sitting there and we get moved to another table because someone else came in. And I don't know if these guys were someone because we didn't recognize them, whatever. The Mark Hotel is like, I was like, I'm going to see Sonia Morgan or Dorinda Medley here. It was so Upper East Side-y for like, we walked in and there was like a guy in his 60s making out with a woman in her 30s. And I was like, what the, like and it was dimly lit and I was in my
like see it.
Exactly. It's exactly what you're thinking. And there was a lot. It was just, I'm like, I just also wasn't dressed for this occasion. Like I didn't know I was going to be going to these places. I was in my sneakers and anywho.
I love that.
Yeah. So they leave. We get moved to another table. This creepy old guy comes over and he's like, I don't mean to be a creepy old guy, but do you mind if I sit here? And we're like, yeah, sure. And we continue to try to keep having our conversation. And he's being a creepy old guy. He's like, he puts his hand behind his head and he's like, I just made a deal. And I'm like, cool. I don't give a shit. And he's like, yeah. And I just came from Bemelmans and Kristen Wiig, John Hamm, and Bill Murray were all singing on the piano.
What?
And me and Emily were like, what?
What a trio.
And so we say, deuces, sir.
We're going back there.
We run across the street. He's like, Kristen Wiig and Bill Murray are gone. And we're like, ah. We run across the street. We get there. They're closing the bar. And the only person still left not singing is John Hamm, which we know they already had a John Hamm celebrity sighting. John Hamm is there, nice and toasty, looking handsome as ever, putting his jacket on. And me and Emily both said, like, we'll never forget that little belly that he showed. And meanwhile, Kristen Wiig's on the phone with her friend that she's meeting when she's talking to us. Like, was it Bill Murray or John Hamm?
I don't know. I love this though. Wait, I actually love my favorite part of this story though is that you guys went across the street with this older couple.
Oh my God.
Like they said that they'd come up for the show. Like it's so holiday spirit, and just even without the holidays, it's just so like nice to hear that about humans, you know?
Oh yeah, shout out to Anu and Elisa. Anu bought our first round. He's like, I'll buy you a drink. And let me tell you, the drinks at the Mark, when I got my bill for 2 drinks, $66.
Holy shit.
So this story ended up making page 6 with Bill Murray, Kristen Wiig, and John Hamm singing at Bemelmans bar.
Oh my God.
And me and Emily were like, can you believe that we missed this? Can you believe that we like
something better, I think.
You think? That's a good twist on it.
I really think that that's so much better. Like you just randomly met these people, you're in line, and then next thing you know, like they're buying you drinks at a hotel. Like it just feels so New York in
It
a
was
way.
such a night. It was such a night. And we were on
Yeah.
such a buzz from
Yeah.
just seeing Kristen Wiig. Like, we could not get over that we just saw, like, our comedy icon. Like,
Yeah. After going
Bridesmaids.
to, you know,
Oh,
St. Patrick's oh my God, Cathedral. Like, it just feels so New York, and I just
it
love that.
was. It was like it.
The only thing you're like missing out of the story is like a meet cute, but both of you are
Okay, well,
unavailable.
no. We'll tell you what happened. Then we went to
Oh,
Brandy's piano bar after that because we were really feeling ourselves. And
yeah.
a lesbian from Australia hit on both of us at the same time.
Yes, there's no better compliment than that.
She said, "Are you two a couple?" And she was upset that we were taken. And
Oh my God,
I
I
was
love.
like, "Oh, I
I
still
love.
got it. I still." So,
See,
I
great
mean, the
night.
meet cute's there. She walked me home. But it was
She
because it was
walked
3
home.
o'clock in the morning, and it was such a day. Like, the next day I missed my doctor's appointments. We were
Oh
out till like
no.
3:30 in the morning. It was a night. It was one for the books though, where you're like, this was absolutely worth it. And
I
you
need to
didn't
get this
really
version of Amy.
you
Just
can get
FYI.
her. Oh,
Okay,
she's in
I want
there.
her. I'm
What?
requesting
I
this
feel
in
like
May.
we've had her. We've had her.
We've had her.
I
Not in a
mean,
while
do we
though.
even need to talk about do we need
LA,
to
you
talk
went home before me.
Well, okay, look.
I like
Another
15
confession.
minutes.
I
15
had
minutes,
just
by the way.
started. I had just started my GLP-1 like 3 weeks before that, and didn't know that you can't drink espresso martinis all day long on them.
Yeah.
And went home and puked in the sink. But I've
Yeah.
since improved on that.
Well, and also in your defense, I was only 15 minutes behind you.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. It was
Well, that's amazing. I love that story so much. I love those kind of just like random meetings, like
I
out
know.
and about. When Eden and I were in New York and we met those two like fabulous gays in the West Village, like we still
better
follow
place
each
to meet
other
them.
online.
Yes.
Like we got like it was just great. I was like, I love this place.
We like exchanged phone numbers. We were texting the next day. They're the ones that sent us the page 6 article.
Oh my God, did
I
they?
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
And they
cute.
have like teenage kids. They were just so also like I tend to get myself into these situations where like I meet people and I'm like, yeah, let's do this. But I wasn't sure if Emily was going to be down to like
Yeah.
go have a
This
drink.
is, I really think, the Philly in us sometimes because
Yeah.
I hear from so many people that I meet like here or there or wherever, then they talk about people from Philly. Like everyone from Philly is just so down, like so down to earth, kind of just like real easy.
Yeah.
The number of questions I get about like, where does the like stigma about everyone being so like mean in Philly come from? Because everyone that I meet from Philly is so fucking chill. I'm
Yeah.
like, I actually don't know because
'Cause
Philly
it's
is
not.
like, and we are
It's-
so down to talk to anyone and
And
do
it's like
whatever the fuck.
if you are in, and it's also it's like it's so true. It's so true.
Think
And
about my mom. She'll have a conversation with the goddamn wall and take it home. Like
I mean,
be like, you want to go
don't-
grab a drink?
Sure. Same. I mean, my dad's looking for anyone that isn't my mother to talk to. Like, please.
Oh man, well, should
I
we
know
get
we
into it?
I know
Yeah.
we have a lot to get into because you
We
know, it's
do.
almost like we didn't. I do want to say one other thing.
Mhm.
I saw Baby Girl. Have you
Oh.
heard about this?
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Someone was
I-
on there and was like, I can't believe I just spent this time watching this, blah, blah, blah. And then someone else was like, this is so good, and blah, blah, blah. So that's
It
the
was
reviews.
yeah.
Blah,
I
blah, 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 blah.
blah 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 blah. It was
Yeah.
I think it was super hot. Harris Dickinson can get it.
Okay.
Can get it.
Okay.
I think it's like what we had hoped 50
That
Shades
other
of
one was?
Grey
Okay.
would have been.
Or
Like,
what was
it
that other
was-
one we talked about that was weird that she did with Zac Efron?
Oh yeah, where that was like cutesy.
it
this
was
was
weird.
n-
The chemistry was really bad in that
I think it's
one.
because he's shorter than her.
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing to say, but I don't see that. Harris Dickinson and like him being the like kind of dom in the situation
Okay.
was pretty hot. And I don't
Okay. I'll have
yeah.
to-
I
I'll watch
would
it.
I would give it a go. I would love to
Wow.
hear your opinion. Have you seen Wicked yet?
No, but I see that it's on TV. It's
It
the
is.
hours that are
Yeah,
tricky
I
for
made
me.
Meek watch the other night and he's
Oh.
like
Wow, he loves it.
I know. I know. Because I like begged and pleaded. And don't you know that mofo last
Loved it.
night was with his AirPods in.
No.
I look over, I'm like, what are you watching? And he's watching
It's a
Idina
wicked EDM.
Menzel.
EDM remix.
Oh, speaking of that too. He's watching Idina Menzel on Letterman from 20 years ago or however many years ago singing Defying Gravity
Oh, you
because he
got
loves the
him.
song.
You
Oh,
got him.
he's like the first hour and a half I wasn't in, the last 30 minutes convinced me. But I did watch Avicii's documentary last night. I would highly recommend it for anybody.
I started it. It was just a lot of music. Does it eventually go into the story? Because the first 20 minutes was just songs.
Wait, did you not see his original doc?
I'm not like an Avicii girl, but I think
it's so weird that I would say that I am. Yeah,
the story for me is like just musicians or anyone in fame who fought.
He has another documentary that I would say watch first, because if you watch that, because this doesn't get in so much to his story. That one's like a really big deep dive. This is more about his music.
Got it.
And how he was successful. His story's sad. It's great, but it's sad. I mean, he was a genius. But anyhow, let's get into what did we miss? Did we miss anything?
Oh boy,
it's almost like we missed something.
Let's just tell the people we're not gonna do the Justin and Blake of it all.
Yeah,
it's too much.
It's like how I feel about Diddy and
it's too much. So I had written it on the outline and scratched it. So
did you see that you said should we get into this on the outline, and I said no.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. If you're interested in that, Justin or the Biofiles has a good podcast with it. I'm sure the Bravo Docket probably did something on it. There's a ton of other podcasts to listen to. This just is not the one for that. There's too much like legal jargon about it. It's so much back and forth. Too many players as well. Like there's two different. It's just a lot.
Do you know what it's giving me? It's giving me Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Yeah, it's a lot. Except at least that was just two people. There's like all these PR reps involved in this too, and agencies, and then the company. I don't know. It's just a lot to follow.
Yeah.
I am dying to get into Paige and Craig. I really am.
Okay. Let's do it. Okay. I think we should preface.
We're sad.
We're sad. And we have thoughts.
Yeah.
Paige is our queen.
Yes.
We also love Craig.
Yes.
Very much.
Yes.
Do you want to start with your thoughts, or do you want me to start with mine?
Go ahead.
I think I have said this, and I would never say I told you so when people are hurting.
Go ahead. But say it.
I knew always that Craig was not Paige's guy.
What was it specifically that made you feel that way this whole time?
There was so much familiarity for me, as maybe just being even 10 years older than her. There were so many things that were familiar, and like, it was like she was constantly trying to talk herself into it. And maybe the distance, I don't think the distance was the only reason why they didn't work out. Do you
think maybe the distance kept them together longer than maybe they would have?
Because it gave them the space in between.
Gave them the space and that excitement. Like it was, fades.
I just think that fades after 3 years. Yeah. Like they saw each other. Like,
I guess it was pretty frequently.
What I want to say is that what Paige did for women in their early 30s, and the comments that she made about women in their early 30s, and the pressure,
the comments that I'm assuming you're talking about are on the recent episode of Giggly Squad. Yeah.
And
really recommend that listen, by the way,
for sure. If you're in that spot,
out there hating on Paige right now, please go listen to that, because this is like, she's not the one.
No. I just think everything she said about this conversation, what Paige is talking about, is such a bigger conversation for women in their early 30s, and just in their 30s in general. There is this pressure, this underlying pressure. The second you turn 30, the second you turn 35, the second you turn 40, that you are supposed to have this life. And even more so than having it, that you're supposed to want this life, that you're supposed to want to have kids, get married, settle down, and do all of these things. And I think what Paige did was so brave, because Paige chose Paige. She
Yeah.
didn't say, like, she's not ready. She doesn't, and people are saying, oh, she strung Craig along. No, she didn't. Craig was in that relationship with her. They knew what was going on. There's no stringing along. I saw someone say, like,
Go ahead, keep going.
I saw someone say, like, oh, he's a hopeless romantic. Like, he's going to get engaged soon. Like, for me, I'm like, is it Craig? Is it the woman? Or is it just you have an idea of where you should be at this age, too? I think it's during your 30s, there's such this pressure of getting married, having kids, doing it in a certain timeline. And that gets put onto us by society. And it's just, I'm so proud of Paige for choosing herself, choosing her career, and even though they were in love, and she was so gracious and didn't say anything bad about Craig, and didn't throw him under the bus, and I honestly think it was just an amicable split. And you said, what did I see? There was this closed offness about her, and I don't know how to explain it, but it was almost like they showed it in last week where he said, oh, I'm freezing my sperm. And she's like, what the fuck? Like, she just wasn't fully bought into the idea, but I think it was also internally bothering her. Like, why am I not wanting this?
Yeah, I think too, I mean, she talked about it on Giggly Squad, but I don't think she saw her career taking off. I think she probably had always had big dreams. Like, she seems really smart and ambitious, but I don't know that she saw it going to this. Like, she is fucking crushing it in life. And she said on the podcast, like, I would have thought when I was like 25, when I first joined Summer House, like, I would have thought by now I would be married with 2 kids, and that's just not where life took me. So, like, when people are saying she strung Craig along, maybe 3 years ago, was Giggly Squad even?
It was like, they just started in COVID, so it was like it
was new. They weren't selling out tours. Like, I think when they started, they were probably a little bit more aligned, and also it was fun in the beginning, and then as things kind of went on. And I think more recently, this is what I've like read, that he told her in the last couple of months that he was willing to give New York more of his attention and spend more time there. And I feel like when that happened, it was kind of like this oh shit moment. And I texted you and I said, oh my God, I feel like she was, if anyone watches Sex and the City, when Aiden moves in, and it's like they're engaged, and he's like pounding down the wall to like make because he bought the space. She suffocate, and she's literally like hyperventilating, and like goes over, and they broke it. Like, they break up that night, and it was just like, whoa, this is becoming so real. I feel it. Like, you should be my person, but you're not my person. Like, Aiden is the perfect on paper kind of guy, but not her guy.
And it's funny because, not to say that my ex of 7 years was my guy, but I was in that place where, like, you should be getting married. Everyone around us is getting married. He wanted to get married. Like, all he wanted was to get married and have kids. And
Craig is like that.
And as it got closer, like, there was a point where I knew he was going to get a ring. And I said, do not get the ring, because he had gotten inheritance. And I was like, I know you're thinking about this. Do not do this. I can't get married till I'm 30. I kept like pushing off, like, and I kept like making the things, like pushing the things off. And everyone would say, like, when are you guys getting engaged? When are you getting married? And we would say, like, we had a place we were going to get married. We would talk about it, even though I knew in my gut that he wasn't the person, that it wasn't going to be him. And, you know, I did to people around me, like, I up and left a good situation. Everybody didn't know the details of what was really going on. And that's what I mean. There could be other things that it also could just not align with what Paige wants. Like, Craig could just not be her person. And That's okay.
That's okay. I also like, it is interesting to watch Southern Charm now and hear Austin talk about how as long as he's known Craig, he's wanted to be a dad, and like that, and that's fine too. Like that's he's building this empire so that he can have a family that's well taken care of. It's just, I also think like he's down in Charleston, like in South Carolina. He's
much
living
different culture.
And if you see where Craig lives, like if you've ever Google mapped it, it's not even in like downtown Charleston. So that means he's like, he's in the burbs. He's
with that beautiful house.
He's surrounded by families. Paige is in New York City.
No one's
surrounded by families. There are no real rules, you know.
And
it's New York City.
No, and she's going on tour, and like that's the thing too. It's just, I go back to this. I just feel like it's so unfair for women to have to make this decision. I remember at 35, I think Hannah on that episode made such a great point. She's like, I'm married. I'm in the like height of my career right now. And I'm freaking out that if I have a kid right now, all of my opportunities are going to go down the toilet. And as women, those are things that we have to think about that guys don't have to think about. And it's so unfair. I remember one of our friends said to me, don't worry, you'll want to have kids when you're a successful actress.
I've heard this.
Yeah, when you're a successful actress. And it actually made me think, like, is that one of the reasons why I won't have kids? And I don't know. It could be on the list.
When you're older, like, you'll get there. You'll get there. I'm like, bitch, I've been waiting. I don't feel that.
No,
I'm 35.
Yeah,
like,
I believe that.
I even Googled, like, donating or selling my eggs because I was watching Sex Lives of College Girls.
You get a lot of money for that. Yeah.
Yeah, guess what? I'm too old.
Yeah. Oh, well, now you are, but you could have done it in your early.
But it was
they don't want those
funny.
Geriatric eggs.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
it was just funny. I was just like, oh, I can't even sell these bitches.
I know. And it's like, we're geriatric at 35, according to gynecologists.
It was such a great listen to that episode of Giggly Squad. Like, just talking about just anxiety at this age too. Like, I'm feeling it so intensely right now, and it's not even about kids or marriage. Like, I feel really confident, no questions in my personal life, but like even how she was feeling about her careers, like how she was probably feeling about her relationship is like where I'm feeling about like work and stuff. And it just feels like in this time right now, I have to figure it out. Like I'm running out of time or something. Like, okay, the clock is ticking. The 20s are over. Early 30s are coming to an end. Like, you can't be doing this at 40. So it's time to figure it the hell out. And like, it's so intense. Like Hannah said something on the podcast that really, really resonated. She said that she had talked to one of her therapists had said, anxiety is like when it's like overwhelming anxiety and you're really like your body is responding, it's basically saying like you are not aligned on like the right path. And I was like, that's enough for me. Holy shit.
And if you think about all the times, if I think about all the times when I wasn't trusting my gut and wasn't listening, because that's the thing too. Like, I feel like ultimately we all know what we're supposed to be doing. It's whether or not we listen to that. Yeah. And whenever I've had those moments of like crazy overwhelm, it's always been when I wasn't listening, you know? Yeah.
I do want to talk about these cheating rumors. I know that you and I had heard stuff a long time ago about not this Marcelo Hernandez guy.
I don't want to say who we heard it about. I don't think we should name the person.
I don't know.
We got.
I don't believe them though. I just don't.
No.
I really think it's like such a crock of shit. Like, why start this shit though?
So back in July, I went back and looked at, because I went and tried to verify the rumors. We went back in July. We heard back in July similar rumors coming from a New York comedian. And I think it's probably the same New York comedian, but they're just saying Marcelo because people are trying to piece things together. We heard similar rumors, and we never talked about it because first of all, we're not talking shit on our girl Paige. I feel like even if they were true, I don't even know if I would. Anyway, we would. Paige is not cheating. Maybe this guy has a misconception of what a friendly conversation is.
I think it was flirty banter. I think he took it as flirty banter, but I think Paige just operates on banter. We've seen her on Summer House, like,
God.
and I know that we've said, like, on here, like, banter is like the gateway to, you know, a relationship, but like, I think for Paige, she's surrounded her best friend's a comedian. Like, I think banter is kind of her first language.
And she's Italian. It's like Italian. Our first language. It's what we do. He's probably from like the Midwest and like really reading into it. Like, oh my God, she loves me. I think he is.
Like,
I think he's from Chicago.
I think that's what's happening. Yeah. I think it's like a cultural barrier that is like
loser
really hyping him up.
Yeah, chill out.
Chill out. Paige doesn't want you.
No. And then people were saying that she was with a guy at a private club on New Year's. Like, guys, come on. No way. Like, we all know Paige is in bed. Paige is in bed. The fact that she was even out on New Year's, I'm shocked by. But look, our girl needs to go out and just needs to be with her friends. And I'm sure she was with a group. And I'm sure every single guy there was trying to hit on her. And she was just having a conversation.
I would hit on Paige. She's funny and she's so pretty. Like,
so pretty. And she's like, her and Hannah are blowing up right now. And I think we can close it out by just saying we're team. I also am like Team Craig and Team Paige. Like,
I'm so happy for both of their success. I think that it really feels like, you know, when they say people come into your lives for different reasons, I think both of their brands would have done fine without each other, but I do think being together really helped blow those brands up. I think Paige was good for Craig.
I have opinions about this.
But I do think I think probably honestly more Paige for Craig.
Yes, that's been my opinion.
Sure. But people, Bravo fans love that's the coupling.
Of course.
And so if they were fans of Craig, now maybe they convert it to Paige. Everyone was basically a fan of Paige, so it was an easy conversion to Craig.
And you know, the last thing I'd want to say about this, because me and you have talked about this, is, and I saw a TikTok on this, but I hope that because of Paige's bravery, because let's call it what it is, we are all kind of saying we think Paige is the one that led this charge in the breakup. Sure. And it is a very brave thing to do when you're in a situation like this. It's brave because you could I've seen so many people go down the path of just getting married because it's the thing to do.
Oh God, I know. I can't even
I've been
imagine.
there. I've been there. I mean, I've watched it happen, and they're married now, and sometimes there's kids involved. I think the biggest thing now is I hope that Amanda Batula sees Paige as an inspiration to do the right thing, because
I think there's a rift there. I'm totally
I wonder if
I think there's a rift there.
I want to say I hope she sees Paige.
Yeah.
And I wonder if the rift has to do with any of the things that we saw, because Amanda, I cannot watch Kyle Cook. We're going to watch it again, another season of Kyle Cook stealing Amanda Batula's thunder, and there's nothing worse. I mean, there's nothing worse. At least Craig was a good guy.
Oh, totally.
So hopefully that's how I got out of my relationship. One of my best friends did it first, and I watched her do it, and it did cause a rift between us. And I pulled back from her because I was like, I don't know how to do what she's doing. She did this, and our boyfriends were friends. And I watched her do it, and slowly, like, I started seeing her falling into her life without him, and it gave me the courage that I could do it too. And that's really what happened. And 8 months later, I did it too.
So ladies, follow your gut.
If you're listening, always follow your gut. Listen, it's not lying to you. And it doesn't matter how many psychics you go to, how many parents you talk to, how many friends you talk to. I remember that same friend said to me, I can see you, if you get married to him, I can see you being the runaway bride. You'll get to the top of the altar and then turn around and run away. Because that's how close it was. And it was just like, this is what people do. I was trying to talk myself into it. If you're trying to talk yourself, right.
Run away.
If you have to talk yourself into it, it's not the one.
You know what I saw? My friend sent me this thing the other day actually, this will resonate with you as well. Eden sent me this Reddit post, and it was like, women of Reddit, what is one piece of advice for like about like deciding to get married or something?
Oh,
And the overwhelming response was, get married for logistical reasons. Like for money, agree, like whatever, like don't do it for all this other stuff, because if you're getting married for just like
love.
you're just like, there's no, basically they were saying there's just no difference. Like if you tying the knot is just gonna be better financial, like I'll have to find the post, but it was pretty, it spoke to like, because Eden and Rudy were together for 10 years. Like you guys got married quickly for a reason that, you know, like same with Kyle and I, it's like, okay, what's the difference if we just sign this piece of paper so that I have your health and like healthcare? Like that's
It's
like
interesting.
really
But it's also like, I saw this TikTok last night, and it was like, and this is how I really feel about it now, because in the beginning when me and my husband were first married, it was like we had this like cute little story. We met on an elephant excursion. We were in Thailand. We had this long distance relationship. It was fate. It was meant to be, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to it, almost 10 years later of being with this person, and this is what this TikTok was saying, is like, I don't believe in soulmates anymore. I don't. I
don't know that I ever did.
Yeah. And I think in the beginning I was like, oh my God, this is fate. We're meant to be together. Like he lives halfway across the world, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to it, me and him made a choice. We made a choice to pick each other. And that's what it really was. We made a choice to communicate every day. We made a choice to get on planes to see each other every month. We made a choice to get married. We made a choice. Like you're just constantly choosing to fight it out with this person. And that's what it's really all about. It's just so not all about the like,
I think that's like
stuff.
kind of what the Reddit post was saying. Like, don't do it because you want this like big extravagant wedding and you're like thinking about your bridesmaids. Like, none of that should even matter. Like, it's just you and this person, and that's it. I really do
because
think
at the end of the day,
the bigger the wedding, the shorter the marriage.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
can't even tell you.
We
have to get into it.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time, but whatever.
I do want to speculate on when we get to watch Paige on Summer House. Is she going to be making out with Jesse, Carl? Do we see this? She'll never go back to Carl. Not with Lindsay.
She'll never go back to Carl. No,
I can't see.
Well, we won't see it on this season, obviously, because she's already with him, or like she's with Craig in this season.
Yeah.
I know these are, so speaking of, Southern Charm was interesting to watch with this new lens. I waited until last night to watch it because my heart couldn't take it, because even though I don't know these people, breakups are just traumatic. Like you're with this person who you know, no one knows you more or better, and then bam, strangers. It's like a real emotional death that happens.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to watch it now though and see, you know, we kind of would see them not aligned, but it was cute banter before because they were together, and now watching it, it's just unaligned. They're not aligned.
It's much
without
more,
the banter.
It's much clearer.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild to watch. It feels a little bit reminiscent of when in Summer House, everyone had said before it had aired, the last season had aired, you'll see why they broke up, talking about Lindsay and Carl. It feels a little bit like that, except obviously a lot less toxic.
A lot less toxic. This is like, I mean, obviously we'll see. When we saw the Summer House preview trailer of Paige saying, trailer, thank you, of Paige saying, and then me and Craig are going to break up and I'm going to lose everything. I think that weighed really, really heavy on Paige, because it was like you said, it was like almost like they were this brand. And in this episode, Craig talking about like donating his sperm, I don't think that that's something they had a conversation about. It seems like it was something he was like doing. I'm also wondering, did they like re-edit this episode after they found out about the breakup? Because
it felt that way.
Didn't it? Like
it did feel that way.
Yeah, it just was, everything that they were hitting on was about a future. I mean, Craig's house, and
you could honestly, that actually is such an interesting point, because they would have had time, because she had made that announcement and they were still kind of on hiatus for another 7 days.
Yeah.
Of the show. Actually, maybe even like 8 days.
Yeah.
So that means I could have gone back and made small edits because it really did feel like that. It felt a little ominous. Like, oh, you guys are trying to tell us something.
I know. So the whole time, this whole season, they're going to be painting Craig as this guy who's wanting to settle down and wanting to build his business. And I gotta be honest, I'm really digging it.
Yeah.
Because he's making Austin and Shep look like, I feel like they think they're like, Craig, our boy, where's our boy been? And Craig's like throwing up his deuces like, hey, little boys, I don't come from a trust fund. I'm not out here. Like,
so true. That's actually a really good point that I think gets forgotten in this show is that
Shep doesn't have a job.
That Shep doesn't have a job, but also Austin comes from a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not saying it's trust fund money, but Craig is coming from a very like blue collar, like humble, probably like middle class Delaware. You know, like, and he's really had to work his ass off to get to where he is, more so than the other. And when I was really happy that I enjoyed Patricia's dinner, but I was really happy that Madison was like, well, it's not like he's bettering his life. Like, I was so glad that someone in the moment was like, wait a second, are we
I would have been, and I honestly would have been shocked if Madison didn't say anything. Because Madison's also friends with Paige. Yeah. And it's so ironic for Shep to be shitting on Craig about who Craig is, like, oh, Craig's thinking he's better than us because he's building his business. Maybe you should take a page out of Craig's book, Shep. You are a 40-something-year-old man who's never probably worked a day in your life, who just gets to golf and live at the beach, and like, you have no work ethic, and then you're shitting on your friend because he's trying to better his persona and not like go to the bars. Craig said it best. He's like, Austin's just upset because I'm not his bar buddy anymore. Yeah.
I mean, Austin should be happy about it though, because when Craig succeeds, so does Austin in some way, because they have a business together.
They have multiple
people that want to see Craig, and like, Craig is who you hear the most good things about through all the blinds and stuff. It's always like, Craig is the nicest Bravo Leb. He'll stand there, he'll hang with you, he'll hold your baby. Like, he's that guy. And so it's like, that's great for Austin, because that means more people are showing up to the Pillow and Beers tour shows. Right.
But also, it really like, Shep, to me, toxic Bravo male celeb. I just don't fuck with him, and I know the words can't even. He's like up there with Kyle Cook. Like, I don't know who I despise more. It's just, he comes on so arrogant, talking so pretentious. Yeah, and all they're trying to be is talking shit about their friend who, I can't even form a thought on this. I would love for that whole part to be edited out.
No, the thing that's so not fascinating, but the thing that I find a little strange about Shep too is he is smart. Like, we know that. Like, and that's maybe not by his own accord. It's just he was sent to these schools. I'm sure he was in a private school his whole life, and then he went to Georgia. I think it was where did he go? University of Georgia. Care. I don't know.
Oh, sorry, but I didn't mean to say that so aggressively.
But I don't understand, like, if he is intelligent, how does he not have like the desire to work or do something with it? Like, that means he's just sitting idle with his brain. Like, I feel like I would.
No wonder he has so much anxiety and is always bopping up and down.
I would lose my mind.
Yeah, you put this note in here, and this is exactly how I feel. Shep saying it's the old Craig that we all love. No, that's not true.
Okay, so for reference, and let me just like kind of set the scene a little bit. So in this most recent episode, Shep is talking about how if like Craig has a beer in his hand, then no one, like, people won't buy his brand or something like that. And Shep straight up is like, the Craig that everyone loves is the old Craig. And it's like, have you never been on the internet? Have you Like, have you never, he was blacked, granted, he gave us a J-Lo and A-Rod breakup, but like, he was blacked out at that. And also going back and seeing old scenes of him when they do any of the reels, that is not the Craig we loved. And frankly, if that was the same Craig doing Sewing Down South, it would not be this successful because we'd be like, fuck that. Think about Loverboy. I've said it a million times. I think without Kyle Cook behind Loverboy, it could have done better. Like, it's just,
I mean,
he's a fucking child, and so like, I'm sorry, I don't want to support that brand. You don't want to support that brand. I'm sure we're not the only two women that are out here not wanting to support this brand because it has Kyle behind it. If old Craig was behind Sewing Down South, it is not Sewing Down South what it is today. It's just not.
100%. And
so Craig or Shep is just so fucking dead wrong with that.
But the reason Shep likes his old friend because Shep could manipulate, and Craig was this like little boy who didn't have a backbone and didn't stick up to Shep, and that's what they like. He liked that he was kept down. So, and he wasn't a threat to Shep then now. But now that he's coming in and threatening Shep's, manhood, and there was nothing more attractive this entire episode than that ending conversation between Austin and Craig, where Austin's like, I just want my buddy back. And he's like, I don't want to go to the bar with you. I'm building a business. And then he takes his shirt off and jumps in the pool. Like, that was iconic.
I loved when he said, what's fun to me right now is like working, making money, and fucking or getting healthy and fucking my girlfriend. I was like, yes.
And I don't know if he wants. And I also don't know if he meant my fucking girlfriend, like, and my fucking girlfriend. He did say fucking my girlfriend, but I'm like,
fucking my girlfriend.
But I didn't know if he meant fucking my girlfriend or my fucking girlfriend. And I was like, Craig, I was like, I know.
And we hear he's great in bed. And
Paige really hyped him up on that. Like she gave him a nice runway to go out there and be single with. You gotta say,
he'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He's rich, hot, and well
has a house and wants to get married. Girls are like banging.
I hope he's gonna need like Secret Service here soon.
There was another thing that Craig said at the end, and I wish I wrote it down, but I didn't, so I can't talk about it.
Okay, great.
And it was just another dumb Shep quote. I feel like Kyle Cook and Shep should go to an island by themselves and like
not be on our TV.
Yeah, I'd like that. I can't wait to watch Shep get his heart broken this season. I mean, to be honest, that's where I'm feeling.
The only other thing that I really wanted to say out loud into the to the audience here is Taylor's decor at her beach house. I literally
Why is Taylor on our screen?
Why
Taylor's beach house looks like Marshall's. It literally just looks like Marshall threw up and was like, oh, do you want a sign that has a slogan on it? Eat, pray, beach. Life's better at the beach.
I was just about to say, life's a beach.
Life's a beach. It's like, Taylor, could you get one less shell and another net? Like, oh my God.
And Rodrigo's commentary on it was chef's kiss.
I need more Rodrigo. I need more Rodrigo. I don't know how or where we can fit him in, but we need more of him. And Patricia's really, really giving me a lot this season.
I'm really enjoying Patricia. That's why I was pretty baked, like stoned last night when I was watching this. And during the dinner, I was like, I'm really enjoying, I think I even wrote on that line, I'm really enjoying Patricia's dinner.
You did. You wrote exactly that.
Like,
Patricia's so fabulous is what you wrote.
She is, and I would like to look like that at 88 years old.
And another, like, this group of men that hang out together, this, like, the Shep and Whitney, like, do you know that they were saying Whitney wearing his sunglasses, that Whitney was doing this because he got a facelift this season? I mean, obviously it's something done.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's in the blogs.
Oh. Well, I do want to just talk a little bit about Southern hospitality because I think Southern hospitality is
the new it girl. It is that bitch. She is that bitch.
And it is giving so much early VPR in a way that I wasn't even expected. And I don't like to do the comparison, but when they were throwing that birthday party for a 22-year-old, I said, oh baby, we're back. We got young, hot, and a goddamn mess. Like, let's go. Because at 22 years old, you're allowed to be mess.
And you can cry over your balloons being flown into the air. So them starting off with the whole Luann scandal and like everyone being like Joe Bradley like denying it. Okay. But then like and then everyone being like, so what if I did? The editing on this, whoever edited this with Joe Bradley saying he didn't, TJ saying he did, Maddie saying, oh my God, I would fuck. I would have sex with Leanne, and then what's her name? Grace Lilly being like, Luann's so iconic, and then Joe Bradley being like, so what if I did? It was such good editing, and just own it. Luann has told all of Bravo, and you're still denying it. Danielle knows. Danielle knows.
Also, why is he denying it?
I think it's Danielle. Understand.
Oh please, that was like a second in time.
I know.
Like, would they hang out for 6 weeks?
Right. Exactly. I mean, yeah. Okay. Danielle probably was like getting married. Okay.
Yeah, she probably was. But I'm actually really interested to see how Emmy and Will play out. I mean, she just tweeted. She just like responded to someone on Instagram saying like, Will and I are in
with his family
Jackson Hole skiing with my family or something like that.
And he turned off his Instagram comments because he doesn't like how he's being portrayed on the show.
And it's just like, no, this is not how you're being portrayed. This is who you are. But regardless, there's this meme that I saw of Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria, and she's like,
I never responded to that text.
Do you know what meme I'm talking about?
No. Oh, the one where she's crying?
She's crying and she's like, I'm fine. Or she's like, everything. I don't know what she's saying, but it is like, I can't unsee that in Emmy now. Like, I'm like, this is, and like,
that's so good. Oh my God.
Her body does look good, but it looks like I am spiraling. Like, she looks like I'm teetering on the motherfucking edge at all points. So I'm just going to go to the gym. I'm just going to do Pilates this many times so that I stay off. Like, I stay on the edge.
And I haven't tried. And
I'm fine. Everything's fine. Everything is really, really great. I love my relationship. Like, it's giving, it's like, oh my God, you're losing your fucking cool here, lady.
That is such a great comparison, because all I keep thinking is that first lunch where they go to, and she's like, so am I going to have a ring and get babies? We're going to have a ring and get babies. And I'm like, girl. And meanwhile, they're going back to like the cheating rumors. And when we say trust your gut, Emmy, trust your gut, girlfriend. When he was in that bathroom with that girl last year for adequate number of time, and people were saying there are not this many rumors going around about your boyfriend if things aren't happening.
The bathroom one, I actually don't think what it was. I think that they were just coked up, and I think they were having because the friend that he was with, he was with in that bathroom, her boyfriend, I think, had just passed, but it was his
best friend. I think they were just doing
lines and getting really yappy.
Yeah,
because that's just sort of how that goes down. But once I do think he was excited to go away to college or to law school though, and like
it's so weird because I watched Southern Charm and then Southern Hospitality, and it's like you're watching Craig, who like so desperately wants to get married as a man, and you're like, this is interesting because like it's not always that case. And then you're watching Emmy, who's a woman who so desperately wants to get married, and it's just interesting how we look at it from when a man so desperately wants to get married, we're like, oh, that's so cute and romantic, and when a woman so desperately wants to get married, we look at it as desperate. Well, and it's just so interesting, the like watching the dynamics back to back.
Because you're right. That conversation that the guys had in Southern Charm, I was like, oh, this is like interesting that guys are just having this conversation in general casually with each other.
Right.
But you're right. When girls are although I think there's something specific about when Emmy's doing it, because it is giving like frantic.
But what's the difference? Like, what if Emmy was like, "Oh, I'm going to freeze my eggs"?
Well, I think that's fine.
No, but I'm saying like there was something like, why did we think it was cute? She's got to be like 25.
So that's maybe part of the other thing is like she's just so young.
But in the South, at 25, you're married out of high school.
The last thing I was just about to Google Emmy's age, and this is what came up. This is like my most recent search. Who could become an egg donor? Not me, guys. Not me.
Wait, how old are you now? 35?
35.
You're 30. You're 30. Yeah, you're
Stops
screwed.
at 32.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So,
dang.
ladies, if you don't need your eggs and you're willing, and you're not.
It's like
32,
$60,000 you can get up to. You can
Yeah.
get so much money.
So I was okay. So Emmy is So Emmy's 26.
Yeah. Oh my God,
Craig
that's
is
insane.
35. You know, I think that's part of the difference. And also, you and I are people who live in like two of the like we live in Peter
know.
Pan town.
I know.
So 26 is an actual child.
But it's weird because
baby.
Meek, my husband, got married at 27.
Yeah,
Isn't that so weird?
Yeah,
I
didn't
wasn't
even meet
27.
Kyle until I was 28.
Yeah. I always
And
think
even
like, did
that, I
he
was
get
like,
married
I
too
think
young?
I'm too young.
Right. But that's what I think for Meek. Like he was only 27, but I was 33.
Yeah, I think some guys are just a little different than like I needed to have my wild 20s. Needed.
Yeah.
Love that for me.
I'm like, I needed my wild 30s.
Well, anyway, I do think Southern Hospitality is going to make, even if VPR is bad, like the new one, it's fine. We use Southern Hospitality. We got this kind of mess going on. Like these people are wild.
They're giving me everything. This is like we've talked about how
Grace
this.
Lilly too.
Me
I know
too.
we're like not supposed to, but I like.
Why? She's such a goofball. She reminds me of someone I know, and you can't help but love her.
You know what it is too? It's like the first season we saw we were like, what is this? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I kind of got it because I am surrounded by people kind of like her, like who are very hippie and into the energies, and I frankly am as well. So it's like it didn't seem that crazy to me. But then, like, now we're 3 seasons in, and we're like, yeah, no, she is not budged in this at all. This is 100% who she is.
It's so true. It's so true.
This is endearing.
Yeah, because it was funny. I did like seeing her on my screen, and I was like, that's so crazy, because I'm pretty sure first season I did not.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to be changing our day again. Don't hate us. We love you. We're going to be changing our day. We'll keep you posted, but we'll be back every week. We'll keep you posted on our day. Mondays weren't working for us.
Does Mondays work for anyone, like in general? Like no one wants to go to work on Monday. You don't want to add extra stuff to your plate on a Monday.
I don't. And we're confused by the Bravo schedule. So we'll keep you posted on what day we're going to be releasing. But don't worry, we'll be back. Join us every week for a new episode. We're back, baby. We're back. Yeah. Happy New Year. Go Birds. Congrats, Jen, on having a ring.
I know. That's what it's very confusing.
It's okay. We'll let you know when Jenna gets married. Don't worry. All right.
It's coming up.
Yeah. All right, friends, we'll be back next week. If you don't already, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Bonded by Bravo Pod. Listen on Spotify, Apple Pod, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Talk to you soon.